Many years ago, there was a large marble stone that the city of Florence attempted to commission artists to sculpt something out of. But artist after artist rejected that stone, claiming that it was too narrow to work with, or that the quality of that particular stone didn't meet the standard that most artists were accustomed to working with. So the stone sat there, untouched for years, with a lot of potential to become a great sculpture, but without a single artist willing to give it a shot.
Many years ago, I felt quite a bit like that stone. I felt rejected, like I wasn't good enough. I remember even, and it's weird to think about this, but I remember it would irk me when people would say, man, like they would look at my work and they'd say, man, you're so talented. Like, why are you working here? Like, you should be working at some sort of an animation studio or something like that. And it would really get under my skin when people would say that. And the reason for that is because I remember thinking, if I'm so good, then why does it feel like there's a door being shut in my face every time? Why can't I get the illustration work that I'm looking for? And I struggled with that for years. I remember, in fact, and it's weird to think about it this way, but I remember thinking of art as a curse disguised as a blessing. Meaning that at the time I thought, like this thing, like I'm good enough at this thing to keep me sort of interested, but not good enough to succeed at it. I even started questioning after so many years. I mean, I had worked as a graphic designer and I had been in the creative field in one way for so many years, but I really started to question, am I ever going to transition into illustration? I was really starting to doubt that time would ever come for me. The stone that I was talking about earlier didn't have a choice. It's just a stone. But you and I, like, we have a choice. And sometimes we don't like the choices that we have, but we have them. And I think in some cases it's give up or get up. And I remember thinking, like, as tired as I felt, as defeated as I felt, I remember just making that decision to draw more than I ever drew before, in a strategic way, in a way that I was going to learn, not just drawing for fun. I painted more than ever. But most importantly, and I should have started with this one, is I started to seek God more than I ever did before. And I mean, like, relentlessly. It was like a light bulb just went off, and I traded my frustration for faith. I traded my anger for ambition. I spent so many years of my life just kind of casually pursuing this and working towards this. But it wasn't until I spent almost 2 years seriously working towards this that I started to experience breakthrough in my life. And I'm talking about, like, relentlessly investing prayer, time, and money into this thing. And I'm telling you, it was miraculously, only by the grace of God. It was all like within weeks from each other. I remember I was contracted by 2 gaming studios. I was signed on with an international artist agent, and I was also given the opportunity to teach with a company called Domestika. They flew me out to Spain to film my first course. And this was all just happening, like I said, just within weeks apart from each other. I remember just being blown, like when the emails were coming in, one email after the other. It was just kind of happening so fast. It felt so unreal to me. To think that I could have missed out on all of those opportunities if I would have given up, not knowing that I was just 2 steps away from that success. It's crazy in retrospect when I think back to that. And I'm speaking, again, obviously from experience, but it's really sad because I think that a lot of people never succeed because I think that they give up not knowing that they're just 2 steps away from breakthrough in their lives. In the Bible, 2 Chronicles 15 says, "But as for you, be strong and do not give up, for your work will be rewarded." You know, that rejected stone that I've been talking about was finally accepted by the famous sculptor Michelangelo. And that stone, even though it was, again, not really up to par, it wasn't the right material that artists like to work with and things like that, ended up becoming one of the most recognizable statues in the world today, the statue of King David. And so with that, I want to encourage you today that if a mere man could transform this unwanted stone into one of the most recognizable statues in art history, how much more can God do in your life if you really press in and just refuse to give up? So I want to encourage you to keep praying, keep drawing, keep painting. And I believe that what's going to determine if you experience breakthrough or not in your life is your level of resilience. I honestly believe you don't, I'm speaking from my experience. I wasn't the best at this. I'm still not the best, but I don't believe that you have to be the best. I don't believe you have to be the greatest. You just have to be unwilling to give in. So press in and keep the fire alive, my friends.